Hey, what's up? It's your boy Nobi. This is a bad Kollective Klubhouse session.
All these fake friends by the way up. Fuck your neighbors, fuck your army and your neighbor, fuck your nation. I'm just saying I go crazy if you're pregnant. Fuck your baby, fuck your son. Shit, I'm so wavy, I'm so stylish. Why you hating? I'm just riding to the bank, bitch, with a smile up on my face. Shit.
So first things first, I feel like a lot of people always want to know where somebody's from. So where are you
Word.
from?
I'm from Tri-Cities, Washington, like 3.5 hours away from here in eastern Washington. I work with a lot of artists out here, and it just got tiring, like having to, figure out how to come out 3.5 hours and like where to stay, and like it was just like a money pit. So I was like, why don't I just like move out here and keep doing what I'm doing and not like stress myself out by having to drive 3-4 hours out here just to like book a studio session. I've been trying to work with as many people as possible, and when you're in like just in the city, there's always shows and stuff going on, and now it's like I can be there.
And out of the local acts that you know here, who would you say are some of your favorites?
Oh man, I'm really feeling Saul right now. Saul was super dope. I love Travis Thompson, that's the homie. Obviously Karma, that's my best friend. I gotta shout out Topp, that's my brother. Yell doesn't live in Seattle, she lives in LA, but she's from Washington as well. Gosh, there's so many. Django, good Lord, Rank, Kung Fu Grip. There's so many. If I forgot you, I feel bad, I'm sorry, but there's a grip of people out here who I'm feeling.
Feeling the whole gang.
The whole game.
So I know a question that I personally have, and
Yeah.
then also I asked on Instagram if anybody had any questions, and this question came up about where did the name Nobi come from?
At first, it was just like Obi-Wan Kenobi, that was like my favorite Jedi growing up. And so, why not be young Nobi as like an 11-year-old? And it's also an acronym for Never Obey Blind Individuals. And that's kind of, I think, the biggest meaning now is Never Obey Blind Individuals. So that's me, that's where it came from.
And can you kind of elaborate on that?
So Nobi is just like, take everything with a grain of salt, be very, very careful who you listen to, and be hyper aware that like almost everything has an agenda, and sometimes like just make sure you don't get used, you know what I'm saying? Don't blindly follow these people or follow these people who are also blind and perpetuate this circle of blindness. And yeah, man, just be your own person. That's really at the core of it, I think, what it is.
So how would you personally describe your style of rap?
Oh man, it's interesting because if you had asked me this a year ago, it would be completely different. I think back then with Lone Wolf and Cub, I was really taking a lot of influences from, like the golden era, the 90s, the early 2000s, and kind of just making like this ode to the hip hop that I grew up, loving. And now it's a lot different. I'm playing with melodies a lot more. I don't think I have a style per se. I hear a beat and I might like just, bar out on it. I might sing on it. I might do both. Like there's never one particular sound yet. I don't feel like I've found that. And so I think that's where I am right now is I'm just creating more than ever and not really trying to box myself in one area.
And then going into that, not having one particular style, I know another question I got on Instagram was, who are some of your influences that may play into the styles that you exhibit in your music?
Yeah. I was pretty into rap early on, like Eminem and Linkin Park were like my two like early childhood. Like that is what I always wanted to listen to. I used to steal my aunt's Walkman, her little CD Walkman, and like go in the bathroom and just like play the Marshall Mathers LP front to back, just be gone forever. There's just so much. I grew up in a household where it was a lot of Motown, a lot of Aretha Franklin, and a lot of Stevie Wonder. Got into jazz a little bit and Miles Davis, and then got into Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down and Fall Out Boy, and like so much, like I went through that angsty phase, you know, where it was just like long hair. I didn't want to like talk to anybody. My parents didn't understand me. And all like while I was listening to that, I was still like absorbing rap and paying very, very close attention to rap back then. Asher Roth, Exhibit, 50 Cent, like all over the place. Lupe is one of my favorite people. Tons of influences. I don't know if I could just like list them off like
You
that.
know, just like put a whole list of like
Yeah,
names
it'd be like
scrolling
it'd be like
next
a
to you.
thousand, you know, like it'd be like a scroll.
So when it comes to more bigger name artists, who would you say you would love to collab with?
Man, I love JID. JID is so dope to me. That's like dream collab right now would be JID for sure. I'm super into King Los. I just like the whole Dreamville camp. Dreamville is crazy. Top Dog's also crazy. Working with Schoolboy Q or Kendrick would be super fire. Oh, have you heard of Cautious Clay?
Yes, I love
Cautious
him.
Clay's amazing. I want to work with Cautious Clay. That would be like, I guess the one that people wouldn't really think about it would be super fire.
So I'm sure if people follow you, they can assume, you know, that you're Black and Asian because of your Instagram name as Ayo Blasian.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to incorporate both sides of that into your music and just life and how you present yourself, having those two identities?
I think I'm tapping into it more now than I used to. I had a song, it was called Schoolhouse Rock, and that song was all oriented towards school and how I didn't really feel like I had a place. You know, I didn't have any teachers that looked like me. I grew up in a predominantly white area with a bunch of like rich engineers kids in, you know, Tri-Cities, Washington, in the desert. I just never really felt like people like understood me. There was nobody that looked like me in school. I had no teachers that like looked at, there was no like mirror for me to look at and model myself after. Man, I really try to just ingrain myself with as much culture as possible. And because I grew up in an all African-American household, I didn't really get as much Vietnamese support as I wanted to. And so now I'm trying to explore that whole side of my life because I really don't know a whole lot about it, and you know, just learn and try to implement that into my music.
You had a music video and it was very like Asian inspired and influenced throughout it, which was really dope. How was that, like putting all that together?
Oh man, that was the best time. Shout out to Justin Frick, he shot our Street Fighter video, and shout out to Zach Lauer, he shot our Bolo Young video. And both of those videos were Lone Wolf and Cub music videos. And even Lone Wolf and Cub, the name itself, is from like Japanese manga. Me and my dad just really used to love watching Kung Fu movies, man, and like Kill Bill and 36 Chambers of Shaolin. And we really kind of bonded watching those things. And so when we came together as a group and brought up the name Lone Wolf and Cub, it was because like one summer, we tried to watch all of these movies called Shogun Assassin. It's like a whole series. There's, I think, 7 of them. Basically, this dad, he like works for this shogun, and then the shogun turns all evil, and he kills the samurai's wife. And the samurai devotes his life to, you know, like hunting down this evil shogun and killing all his homies and like anybody associated with him, and he does it with his 3-year-old son like on his back the entire time. And so that's where Lone Wolf and Cub came from, and we thought it like modeled pretty well for our rap group and how we're just, you know, like aggressive and attacking stuff all the time, and also like talking about like some serious subject matters when we can. Man, it's like in everything with Lone Wolf and Cub. The whole Street Fighter video, a lot of our inspiration came from Kill Bill, which is a movie I've watched a gazillion times with my dad.
A great movie.
A phenomenal movie.
I know last year we had talked a little bit about you were making an album. You were in the process of making one. You were producing and all of that. How has that been coming along? You have a time frame when we should expect it
man.
to drop, or?
I've had so many. I feel like I've said this day or this month a bunch of times, and so now I'm kind of like, it's tracked out, it's recorded, we just have to get it mixed and mastered, but I'm taking my time with it and also exploring sound design and production myself, and really making entire songs just with me, no other producers, no other engineers. And I'm hoping to release, if not my album, a short project by the end of the year, so fall, winter time.
That's a long
Hoping
time.
to. Yeah, got some time.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for that.
For sure.
What are your other interests outside of music?
I've been super into teaching lately. That's my 9 to 5, I guess. Like, I'm into football, I like sports, I like playing video games, Smash Bros. I like watching movies. Lately, I've been super into Black Mirror, like, just been rewatching that, and I don't know. I'm kind of like all over the place with what I like to do. I've been going outdoors more. I went like to a yurt last weekend. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
What is that?
They're like cabins, but a circle. They're like giant. I don't know how to describe them. You never seen a yurt before?
I feel like I've seen what you're describing, but I didn't know that that's what it was called.
Yo, like, it was a super creative, like, spiritual experience. Like, the owners, it was an Airbnb, and the owners were all like super into holistic healing, and so they schooled us a little bit on that, and they had a bunch of music instruments in there, so I just brought the studio and made a bunch of tunes in the woods for like 2 days.
You know that I'm into sneakers. Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite pair? What's your like go-to?
My go-to, or like my favorite, like my ideal pair?
Let's get an answer for both.
Oh, I'm not wearing them right now, but I have these Air Force Ones that are, they're like olive green, and I wear them with everything because it's super easy to wear like camo pants or something with them. So those are like my ideal like go-to sneakers right now, or beaters. Like I walk everywhere in those shoes. I'm surprised I'm not wearing them now. And then my favorite pair of sneakers, I really like the Bel Air 5s. Those were crazy. Those were super crazy. I like the Wolf Grays too. The Bel Air 5s are for sure my favorite pair.
And how would you describe like your style?
My style?
Yeah.
Changing. Everything is changing right now. I like to be comfortable. I like a lot of black, and I'm super into cardigans right now. I love cardigans because they're like open.
Very teacher of you.
Oh yeah, big teacher vibes.
What would you say your best memory of the last 12 months has been?
Jungle Island was amazing. We had just dropped a music video, and we're just like working super hard all the time, like just doing the 9 to 5 and then working, 8 more hours after that for like months at that point. And then Jungle Island was like the culmination of all of that. I just remember after the show being just so like wow, like we did that. You know what I'm saying? It was a great feeling. So I would say Jungle Island has been my like highlight so far.
And take us through like from the beginning to the end of a day when you have a show, like preparing, performing, and then what goes on after you're done.
Typically I am selling tickets like up until the door. After I'm done selling tickets, I like to be as like low key as possible until my set, and then after the set, it's lit. We can turn up and do whatever. Pre-show, I'm like one track, like this is the goal, this is what I have to do right now.
And how does it feel for you, like when you're performing, what kind of feeling is that?
I think I heard this just today actually, the 30 to 45 minutes that you're on stage it's an unobtainable high. You can't there's nothing else that equates to that. And I really agree with that. Like those being on stage and just crushing your set, that's the best feeling ever. Or like when people know the words, like that does not get old to me. Like you're performing these labors of love that you've just worked on forever, and people are like vibing with it, putting their hands up, screaming, doing whatever it is. That's like the closest thing that I could like. That's like the best way for me to describe that feeling. It's just so affirming, I guess.
What is your number one goal for this year?
Get this project out. Yeah, I gotta get this album out, man. People have been waiting for it for a long time. I've been waiting for it for a long time, and I just want to see it out there so that I can work on the next thing and, you know, kind of move on, transition to bigger and better things. I'm super ready to put this project out and share it with everybody, because like it's recorded, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I have to write anything still or like record anything still. We just have to mix it and master it. So
When you're like 90 years old, you've lived your life, you've done your career, you know, there's essentially, we can assume that you've done everything you wanted to do.
yeah.
What do you want to feel like you accomplished?
For me, as long as I know that like the family is good, you know, my family's taken care of, my siblings, my mom. Well, I mean, I'm 90, so I love my mom, but she's probably gone on by then unless we figure something out. I want to make sure everyone's taken care of, and I just really want to know like or feel like I helped somebody get through something with music. I think that's my end all goal. Like if there's one person that's like, yo, this song helped me in this way and got me through this, then like it's all worth it, you know? Those are like the best compliments to have, because it just like, you know, they felt what you felt when you were making it, and that's like all I want people to do.
You ain't never heard a genius on a microphone saying keeps you a fiend, leave the mic alone. Shit is whatever, I shoot up a red, ain't killing any man, but they think they get 10 without any effort. The bodies get 7 and put in the river, whoa.